Good Friday afternoon to you. Welcome to the Jon Sanchez Show on News Talk 780 KOH. It's a pleasure to be with you. Mr. Gunn is tied up in meetings. I will be flying quasi solo. Why did I say quasi? Because she may not be securities registered, but she could be. She can do everything else. She runs all of our marketing. She's the producer of the Jon Sanchez Show. She does it all. And I asked her to join me this afternoon. My beautiful daughter, my baby girl, Bailey Sanchez. How you doing,
What
sweetheart?
an intro. They get better and
Right?
better with each
Don't they
episode.
though? And it's all off the top of the head. It's not like I'm
You
looking
want
at
a
a
good
script or
Christmas
anything.
present, don't you? I
I
know
what?
it. You want a good Christmas present. You're building up those intros.
Yeah. Hello. I want a present from Qatar is what I want.
Done deal.
Yeah. So we'll share a little family secret. So Bailey is leaving Monday and rendezvousing with Dr. Dennis Sanchez. So he will not be joining us on Monday, but I will still continue a AI subject because you guys are going to be rendezvousing in the country of Qatar.
Yes, we are.
To watch your nephew in the World Cup soccer.
My cousin, not my
cousin,
nephew.
excuse me. Yeah, nephew.
Yes.
Yeah, my nephew,
Yeah.
your cousin. Yeah.
The 17 and under World Cup. How do you argue with that? I couldn't pass up the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute here. Let's let the dirty family secrets out here. Folks, let me tell you, and I'm sure many of you that are parents and grandparents can relate to this. So let me kind of line out how this whole trip unfolded. I get a phone call from her. She's like, "Dad, yeah, honey. Hey, I happen to notice that you have a bunch of points on your American Express card. And Dad, we all know how much you hate to travel." And I knew right then and there, here it comes. She goes, your incredible nephew is, as you know, just qualified for the 17 and under World Cup in Qatar. And I'm like, crap, Qatar. So this is how the conversation goes. Within 5 minutes, she has me closed. I gave up how many dollars worth of the...
Okay. Well, for the listeners, just so you know, Jon Sanchez will keep gift cards from the last 10 years because he won't even cash those in. So Lord only knows that the American Express points were going to go to waste. So to be the good family member that I am, I had to test the waters in the Middle East to go support my cousin, obviously.
Not to Vegas, but to the Middle East. Yeah.
Yes.
And how much were all those points that I gave up? What was the dollar value of that?
Free, as far as we all know.
Wait, not free. Don't give me that, salesperson. That was what, like 23, 2,500, 2,700?
They actually did come to like about $2,500 for
$2,500 worth that I gave you. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I think at least, a souvenir, I visited Qatar and my dad got a t-shirt.
I'll give you the classic mug.
Plastic mug.
The Middle East.
Yeah.
Sending love.
But talking to your Uncle Dennis, one thing I learned, which I didn't know, is they keep your passport when you land. Did you know about that?
Did not. I thought I read up on everything. That, of all things, just made my hands sweat.
Yeah, he informed me yesterday that when you land, you have to hand over your passport to the Qatar government or whatever agency does that. So make sure you just can't leave whenever you want to. Okay, that on top of, I heard it's 90 degrees and 90% humidity. So
yes. Yes.
And do you have to wear
I've traveled to many countries in my life, and this will be one that is the most unique, to say the least.
Yeah. Do you have to wear what's the thing called?
No, I have to have shoulders and knees covered. Tattoos will obviously be covered. So
that's a
your
problem.
Girl's going to be sweating a little bit, to say the least. I'll come back a few pounds lighter. So.
All right. And who's producing the show while you're gone?
We'll go over that this weekend, Father. We'll teach you how to press the record button.
Oh, gee. Really? You're going to trust me to do that?
Sorry to all the listeners if it's in and out and bad service and all the things. He's trying his best.
Jack Saban, help me, brother. Help me, Jack Saban. Help me, Jack Saban. I thought your older sister was going to be the producer. No, that fell through.
Okay, well, we'll handle that when we handle that. Happy Nevada Day, Dad. Happy Nevada Day.
Happy Nevada Day. All right. All right. I hear it. I hear it in your voice.
Yep.
So why are you joining me today?
I mean, why not? We always have the best conversations. So you're going to talk about the week on Wall Street per usual, but I like to come in with the general questions that I feel like a lot of other people have, considering I haven't been in the industry per se, like you have or Jason has. So I like to kind of bring the aspect from the listener who doesn't know all the deep down details like you guys do, and ask the questions that they might be thinking.
So in other words, you're 29 years old now. All those, let's see, you moved out at what, 18, 19, right around there? How old were you when you moved out?
I moved out at 17. Thank you.
17. So for 17 years sitting at the kitchen table, discussing the markets and the business, all that went in one ear and out the other. That's what you're saying.
I mean, at 17, I had way different priorities.
And Lord knows you had no plan of being in this business at
Did
17.
not, but here I am. You're welcome. You are welcome.
Oh, you little spitfire. You little spitfire. All right. All right. So you're going to be throwing, folks, I have no idea what she's going to be talking about after I do the stock market recap. You're just going to be throwing a bunch of kind of general questions. I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I say we touch on the big topics of the week, and I'll ask questions that I think a lot of people might have who aren't in the industry.
Fake media and Israel
Don't
and all
get
the
me
things
started.
that float your boat.
Tinfoil hat is on.
Exactly. Coming to you from a from a cave in the middle of the Nevada desert.
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess I'm looking forward to it, but anytime I get to spend time with you, I enjoy it and I
Well, thank
cherish
you.
it. I cherish it. I cherish it, especially since you're going to be gone for 10 days. So forth. Yeah. And we got this time difference. So, don't expect you're still on payroll while you're gone. Don't expect, because, right, you're not taking true vacation time because you said you're going to work the whole time. So that means I can call you at my normal times, even though it's what is it, 11-hour time difference or
10
something?
hours. 10
10 hours.
hours.
10 hours. Okay, cool.
Anyways,
I
happy
like
Friday,
that.
folks. My hands are double sweating now.
If you're a true employee and dedicated, you would still be producing the show.
Okay. Yeah, 1 a.m. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's dedication for you.
Of course. Of course.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out one way or the other. All righty, folks. Well, enough of the goofing off. It is Friday. We do always like to lighten things up just a little bit because Lord knows I am tired. You are tired. Bailey's tired. Everybody's tired. It's been a long week
Yes,
on Wall Street. But you know what? That's okay. Because we're here, we get to spend my favorite hour of the entire day, which is when we all get together and talk about this great thing called Wall Street and the craziness going on in the economy. So it looks like, Bailey, first thing, it looks like let's see, we were day 31 today, I think is day 31 of the government shutdown. 33 is the records. Sincerely doubt we're going to get the government open on Sunday. So it looks like we'll probably be able to set a new record of the longest government shutdown in history. That was one thing we dealt with.
There's a lot of questions that I have for you on that topic
All
that
right,
we can
hold on
touch
to
on
those.
after the break. Yep.
Oh boy. Oh
A lot
boy.
of questions.
All right. Well, let me tell you what we do have lined up. Again, we're going to be breaking down what happened the week on Wall Street as we do each and every Friday. We had big tech earnings this week. We had surprise layoffs. We had interest rate signals that, let's just say, have investors a little confused. Well, you were on the show last night. You were behind the scenes, but did you see poor Dwight? We get this Fed interest rate cut this week, and Dwight's like, wait a minute. I mean, again, John, Fed gives us an interest rate cut and mortgage rates soar. Let me see where this real quickly.
That poor man
here?
looks
Let's
like
see.
he had hit Friday 3 times over this week with the look on his face.
It did. Yeah, 628 is where we closed on the 30-year mortgage, according to Mortgage News Daily. It was down 5 basis points today. But again, we're at 613, Bailey, early in the week, right before the Fed interest rate decisions. Big jump up on mortgage rates. So, yeah, the poor guy, just feeling the brunt of it along with other mortgage professionals. So, but, again, that'll be one of the many things that we talk about. Let's get down, first of all, to what the heck happened today. Well, it was somewhat of an unusual day. It was a day, I'll be honest with you, that I had a lot of optimism in. And the reason I say that is because yesterday, of course, not long after the stock market closed, we had release of earnings numbers out of two major names. We had Amazon and we had Apple. And both of those companies far surpassed Wall Street's expectation. They gave great guidance. It was everything you wanted to hear. The stock started moving up in the after hours. I mean, Amazon yesterday, if I remember, was north of $20, and Apple was up over $6-7, right around there. Didn't quite hold that way. Small gain on Amazon. So how we finished up $11.91, $57.60. Excuse me, pardon me. Let me back up. I apologize. Amazon up $21.82, 9.79% to $244.68. Apple, that's what I was starting to say, down $1.15. So went for that gain negative to close at $270.25. Bailey, this market has a strange twist to it right now, and I think it's really. Remember when you were a kid and you'd play, let's say, Tug of War, right, with your friends in the front yard? It's kind of what it's going on right now. You got the bulls on one side, you got the bears on the other side. They're tugging right now and going, wait a minute, AI is overvalued, or maybe it's not. Or look at all the money that these companies are spending, or look at the layoffs that Amazon announced this week. And it's tug of war, back and forth and back and forth. And the easiest thing when you get into a market condition, Bailey, like we are in right now, where markets are nearing, all-time highs as we hit, just a couple of days ago on all the major averages. the easiest thing when you're confused and you got this tug of war going on is to sell and say, you know what, I'm going to take profit. I'm going to sit to the sidelines, let this market kind of cool down. And I really think that's the best way that we can summarize what happened this week, because it was a week that, theoretically, I had a lot of optimism. I had a good feeling Amazon was going to do well in earnings. I had a good feeling Apple was going to do well. But I also had a good feeling the market were going to do well because of President Trump and President Xi, right? They met on, Wednesday night, our time. And geez, they hardly got any, thing written about them. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, they talked about rare earth and China's going to open up the rare earths a little bit, and Trump dropped his 100% fentanyl tariff, so now we're down to a 47% tariff. But beyond that, market did not even budge on it. So that's what I'm saying. That's the best analogy that I can explain to you and to everybody else. It's just, we just got this tug of war. Not saying anything's bad, not saying anything's good. We're just kind of stuck right now. And I think we're really lacking conviction at this point.
I think when we come back from break, I would love to pick your brain on, is it assumption that with all of this AI, new news on AI coming out, is it set in stone that these markets are up and down because of that? I know that Amazon had all those layoffs. Did they directly come out and say, hey, this is because of this new technology, we don't need these people anymore? Or is it just the assumptions? Because I think we're all reading the same headlines at the end of the day,
Yes.
and AI is front and center, of course, but is there really other stuff behind the curtain that's driving these changes so
Nice.
rapidly?
Beautiful. Love to answer that question. Hey, this is going to be fun. Someone gets to ask me a question instead of the
There we
other way
go.
around. I like that. I like that. I think that's the idea of being a radio show host, right? All right, sweetheart. Let's sit tight. All right, let's turn it over to a wonderful, absolutely incredible Kristen Snow. She's in the Right Now Traffic Center. Hello, Kristen Snow. Welcome back to the Jon Sanchez Show on News Talk 780 KOH. Mr. Gaunt is in meetings. I have my daughter, beautiful Bailey Sanchez, joining us, our Director of Marketing at Sanchez Gaunt. All right, again, this is going to be really fun. I have no idea what Bailey's going to be asking me throughout the show, but I think it's wonderful to get her questions and perspective as a 29-year-old businesswoman in this world. What she's seen, because it's obviously different than things Jason and I see and worry about, and so on and so forth. But first of all, here's a snapshot of where we finished. A 41-point gain on the Dow was all. Again, it was a volatile session. We closed at 47,562. NASDAQ rose 142.61%. S&P up 18 or 0.26%. For the day, oil was up 39 cents to $60.75 a barrel. Gold gave up $19.70 to a close of $3,996 an ounce, and up 1 basis point on the 10-year to a close of 4.1 for the week, up 10 basis points on that yield. All right, Ms. Sanchez, the floor is all yours. I'm going to sit back, and you're going to fire off questions between now and about 5:57 this evening. So let's go to the first one.
Put me in training for when you retire, huh?
There you go. There you go. Exactly.
Well, I think the common thing that you and Jason and the guys have been talking about all week again is Amazon had all these layoffs, right? And the market is back and forth, this tug of war, with the overall theme thinking that this is because people see these AI headlines, AI is taking over, do all these layoffs with these companies, and that's what's changing the markets. Is that true? Is that set in stone? Did they come out and say AI is changing Amazon right now, and that's why we're, releasing all these employees? Is this set in stone, or is these assumptions that we're all making just from seeing the same headlines week after week about AI?
Yeah, great question. Let's tackle Amazon specifically, and then other companies in general. Okay, so you're absolutely right. When Amazon released their earnings numbers Wednesday after the close, and actually a day or so before that, they announced let's go back actually to Monday, if memory serves me correctly. The news broke that Amazon was going to lay off 30,000 employees. Now, it sounds like a lot, but I mean, you're talking a company with 325,000 employees. And it was just in the corporate office, Bailey. At that point, there was, I think, it represented roughly 10% of their corporate workforce, right, at 30,000. When it finally happened on Wednesday, if I remember right, it was only 14,000, but still substantial sum of employees. And everybody's assumption is exactly what you thought, which is they're doing this because of AI. I mean, we know how much AI is entrenched in Amazon, and they're one of the market leaders there with Amazon Cloud and so on and so forth. Right? But it was funny. Andy Jeffrey, the CEO, came out when he was on the analyst conference call on Wednesday and specifically said the layoff had nothing to do with AI. You know what his answer was? We were bloated. We had excess personnel from the COVID era. We overhired during the COVID era. Now, you and I have a lot of discussions about fake news.
Yes.
And I think this was a prime example. Love the company, not bashing. He's a great CEO, but I'm hearing it way too often. This is what companies are saying. Because Bailey, in my opinion, they don't have the guts as a CEO to come out and say, guess what? A machine just took 5 jobs. A machine just took 10 jobs. Instead, it's more humanistic to come out and go, hey, we overhired, right? This is what companies always, we overhired. We just got to let people go. In reality, I mean, my guess is I don't know the corporate office setup of Amazon, but my guess is it was AI. They just don't have the guts to come out and say that. And again, this is very, very common of what we're seeing right now. Very few companies, if you get into some of the tech companies, Bailey, like Salesforce, we had it this week with Meta, right? Meta has this Meta Labs, right, where they create the just kind of crazy projects, right? And lost what $4 billion this year or something, and they laid off, I think it was what 600 people or something out of there. And everyone's like, "Whoa, this is kind of the AI lab, the fancy glasses that have AI in it, on and on and on." They'll be the first to admit, yeah, AI is taking jobs, right? So it really, I think, depends upon which industry a company is in, of how they're going to depict that to the public, right? Because you take a company like Amazon or anybody that's not 100% pure tech, and they need to walk this fine line of not looking like this gargantuan giant that has no soul, and instead they're going to say, hey, you know what, we're just overloaded, we got to let people go. And I should mention also that they did offer supposedly a lot of these people jobs in other parts of the company. Generally what I've seen, when companies do that, very few people take them up on that, because usually it requires a completely different department and position than what you want, and usually requires you moving and on and on. So most people just go, you know what, give me my severance and I'm out the
Well,
door.
let me stop you right there. Here's my question. This may be a very black and white question. You said the layoffs were in the corporate headquarters, correct? So if AI is taking over or they hired too many people, it just doesn't seem like the puzzle pieces are adding up. If they hired too many people in the warehouse and they replaced them with AI, I could understand that. That makes sense for that area of the business to be taken over by technology. Less people on the ground, more robots moving around with
Mm-hmm.
packages, right? In corporate headquarters, it seems you've had your essential, we'll just throw out a number, 100 positions that run the
Mm-hmm.
company regardless of COVID, of whatever situation's going on. So is AI taking over those corporate positions inside of the
Absolutely.
office?
Absolutely.
Or how did you hire that many extra people inside
Right.
of
And I've
headquarters?
always said that. And I was telling this story to a friend yesterday, or brought this exact subject up. It's so funny you ask about it. And I said, shame on, to pick on Amazon, shame on their CFO for going, what COVID ended, what, 2022. So here we are 3 years later, going 3 years, and you're bloated in personnel. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's a lot of
It
money.
doesn't make sense.
That's a lot of money. So that's why I don't believe that that's it. So go back to your first question, or your question a moment ago, which is, did AI take it over? I believe in my heart of hearts, yes. Because you think about, I mean, I don't know Amazon's corporate structure, but I visualize a lot of financial analysts and treasury people, and so on and so forth. Bailey's, we see with major Wall Street firms. I mean, every one of the firms have admitted that, so like Goldman Sachs, our friends at Goldman Sachs, they've shed lots and lots of jobs because of AI. You know, if your dream, Bailey, at 29 years old, was to go back to school and go get an MBA from Harvard or Yale, one of these big Ivy League schools, and go, Dad, I want you to help me get a job on Wall Street, I would say, Bailey, I can't help you. Right? As long as I've been doing this, I can't help you, because those jobs, those junior analysts, as they call them, coming out of college, even from a big MBA school, it's a challenge for them, because all that kind of grunt work that a new finance employee does, AI is doing it for basically no cost and a million times the speed. So I use that same logic in a corporate setting, Amazon or anybody else. A lot of those financial analyst type of jobs, like an MBA would occupy. Again, you can do it with AI. So
Yeah.
I just think we're not being told the truth by a lot of companies,
Right.
that AI really is the reason. And
And coming
as we've
from
all said, especially with your uncle joining me on Mondays, it's just the beginning, folks. This is why we're so pushing for people to start thinking about solo AI entrepreneurship, right? Because this is just the beginning of what we're going to see.
coming from not only the consumer side, but also somebody who tried to open a brick and mortar clothing store at the beginning of COVID, right? One, I closed my business solely because through COVID, everyone got so comfortable ordering any consumable item through technology, through Amazon, things like this. And it has only become a habitual pattern within society now to do that. There's less and less people walking inside of a business to buy something. I even rely on like Walmart pickup, right? I don't even want to walk in the store
I remember,
anymore.
yeah.
And so it just doesn't, if you're over bloated in personnel in Amazon because of COVID, I'm sorry, but maybe this is ignorant of me, but it only seems like that side of the business is growing and growing. It seems you should be adding more people. So this is only tying into yours and I's speculation. I think that is potentially not completely the truth, that it's not technology taking these jobs, that if that's why you're releasing them.
Right. But let's before we go to break here, let's strip a few layers off this onion here, right? It's your point is here you got one of the top technology companies slash consumer companies, obviously in the world. We all use
Mhm.
Amazon. How do they not know, right? How do they not doing this? But what you have to realize too is every publicly traded company, Bailey, is under significant pressure from Wall Street to perform
Mhm.
quarter after quarter after quarter, right? If their earnings were $3 a share this quarter, by gosh, they better be at least whatever, $3.05 next quarter. If they don't, Wall Street, as we saw this week with Microsoft and Meta, they're going to punish the stock. They're going to sell the heck out of it and cost the company billions of dollars. So this pressure that's on these companies, as an investor, Bailey, I mean, you own stock. As an investor, do you really care if one of your companies grew their earnings because they got rid of 2,000 out of their 5,000 employees? Or do you even care, right? You're shaking your
At
head
the
no.
end of the day, as long as I see that price, going up on the shares that
That's
I
right.
own,
And
and as
and
as heartless as it sounds, I don't care what you say. At the end of the day, as long as you see your portfolio growing,
that's
you
right.
actually will
And
not go to
that's
bed thinking about the
And
jobs
that's
that
the
were
logic.
replaced
And
with
that's
AI.
exactly the logic. So you answer that as a retail investor, but you magnify that towards, Wall Street and institutional level. And it's even more pressure. If you're a pension plan out there, they don't give a doggone if you fired people because AI took over. They're like, yeah, because we all know as business owners, your biggest expense for most of us is payroll, plain and simple.
Absolutely.
So if you can reduce that, that has an immediate impact to the bottom line, to the earnings per share, to the overall, everything, as long as you don't lose a step, which companies like an Amazon don't tend to do that because AI is making it more productive. I mean, Bailey, it's gone so far as I don't think you and I ever really touched on this, but I think it was right after COVID ended. Amazon went on this path where they started to allow, and the name escapes me, but where you can open basically your own Amazon delivery business.
Mhm. I had heard about that. I never dove too
Yeah,
much
and
into it.
and
I
you
know what you're
you
talking
see,
about.
matter of fact, a majority of what you see like around our homes and things like that,
Mhm.
that's these contractors, right? So
Right.
I had a lot of clients inquire about this when Amazon opened this up. So you go to Amazon, you apply, you have to have, certain criteria to meet. They approve you, and then you lease, whatever, 20 vans from them and warehouse space and on and on and on. And now you're a delivery company for Amazon. You have their logo, it's their vans and that type of thing. I read this article the other day in the Wall Street Journal. Many of these guys and gals are giving their businesses back to Amazon. They're like, we can't afford it. There's not enough profit left for us because Amazon is putting the screws to them so tight. I mean, you live on the ranch, we have a semi truck. I get advertisements literally. I just got one today from was it called Amazon Load or something, where Amazon wants to hire. They're desperately looking for trucks, right, to haul their trailers and stuff like that. Again, I asked a friend of mine about it. And he's like, my God, that was the worst thing I ever did because I made no money. I mean, very stringent, go from point A to point B by this time, and I made no money. So the idea is Amazon is very tight. Picking on Amazon, they're very tight with their money. So they're going to do whatever they can to enhance that bottom line, whether it's job layoffs through AI that they're not willing to admit or whatever the case is. And every corporation, Bailey, is that way. It's all about the bottom line because they have to report to the ultimate client, which is Wall Street.
Right. Absolutely. I think the best thing that anybody can do these days, it's not a secret that technology is taking over. Just don't lie about it. People already know it's happening.
Yeah.
Don't lie
Yeah.
about it.
Adapt it, as we say
It
every Monday.
shows how advanced you are. Just be truthful with people because I'd much rather invest with a company who's telling me the truth.
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right, we'll continue on with Bailey's questions when we come back. Let's turn it over to Jack Saban. He's got news, traffic, and weather. Welcome back to the Jon Sanchez Show on News Talk 780 KOH with my daughter Bailey Sanchez. Jason is tied up in meetings at this point. Happy Friday. Good weekend to all of you. And again, happy Halloween.
Happy Nevada Day.
Happy Nevada Day.
Yes.
Well, officially tomorrow, right? Or do we? Well, we consider today Nevada Day. Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah,
Nevada
we
Day
do.
parade's tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Only been to one of those. That was enough.
What a Nevadan you are. Come on.
No, it was all your drunk, what friends that did not make it. Well, your brother's drunk
I
friends that
was
did
going to
not
say,
make
you're
it a
looking
lot of
at the
fun.
wrong child.
Yeah, that's true. All right, 41-point gain on the Dow's how we finished. 142 rise on the Nasdaq and up 18 on the S&P 500. All right, I've given an open forum to this wonderful 29-year-old to hear from her perspective, what her generation's wondering about as far as Wall Street and investing and the economy and so on and so forth. So I don't know what she's going to ask. So Bailey, go to your second question.
Let's hit the next obvious headline of this government shutdown. You shared a statistic with me earlier. This is costing $7 billion a week that
Yes.
we are shut down. You
Yes.
said we are almost at a new record for the longest government shutdown. Of course, both sides are collecting their paychecks still. What's
Well, you mean the politicians that are keeping the government shut down? They're collecting. Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. That's what you mean. Yeah.
So here's a general question that I think everyone wonders all the time. How is this going to affect us as a normal citizen with this much money being spent on a government shutdown? What does that look like for us? Because it's not them paying it back, it's solely the citizens paying
Hmm.
back for their decisions per usual. What does this look like going forward if say they opened up tomorrow and we did
Hmm.
31 days of shutdown?
Hmm.
How do we pay that back?
Well, you'll never get it back. Now, of course, the biggest impact, Bailey, is the furloughing of the government employee. Right? They don't get their paycheck. They're not getting their paycheck. We're seeing air traffic controllers walking off the job, and TSA people, and things to disrupt services that we all need. Right? Like government businesses and jobs, and obviously airport, and so on and so forth. So those people, at least the way it's written, even though Trump has threatened the opposite, will get their back pay when that happens. Now, let's play a little mind game here. Let's say you're a government worker, and like most people, you live paycheck to paycheck, right? So you've now essentially gone almost the entire month of October with no paycheck.
Mhm.
Well, when you call up your lender and say, I can't make my mortgage payment. Some lenders are, I've heard, are offering some programs. They're not going to eliminate that October mortgage payment. Generally, what they'll do is they'll take it and they'll put it at the end of your loan. That way, you get to pay interest on that
Of
extra
course.
payment, right? So don't think they're doing a great thing for you. So you can't make your car payment, you can't make your credit cards, you can't make your mortgage payment. But oh, by the way, and then again, for those that collect the SNAP benefit, you're not going to be able to get that effective tomorrow. So you're going to see a lot of people just clamoring for the basics of life, food, shelter, that type of thing. So, depending upon, again, day 33 days is our record. It looks like we're going to surpass that. So, Monday would be 34 days. So, we're going to set a new record on this, but it depends on how long it lasts, Bailey. So, it's costing the economy, as you said, $7 billion a week, roughly 30 billion in a month. And so, can you make that back? I don't think you can. So again, back to my analogy, Bailey, if you're a government worker and you haven't been paid for a month, and somehow, some way, maybe you had enough savings, or your creditors are allowing you to postpone these payments, till you get paid, whatever. Guess what? What are you not doing right now? You're not going to the grocery store at 5 o'clock when you get off of work. You're not going to J.C. Penney and buying a new winter wardrobe, right? So that's where it costs the economy, is people just freeze up because they have no money to do it. You can't get that back, because I guarantee if Monday morning the government shutdown ended and they paid you back your whatever $4,000 for the month, what are you going to do? I've got bills, I got to back
Right.
bills I've got to pay. So you
Right.
see, you never really make up for the economic loss.
So how are these big businesses not breaking down the door to these politicians and saying, "Look,
They
not
are.
only." Okay.
The airline CEOs met with JD Vance yesterday. Exactly this, saying,
Right.
look, at this shutdown is costing air traffic controllers to walk off the job. They're exhausted, they're not getting paid, etc. I mean, we saw just last week what LAX was shut down for about 4 hours. Burbank a few weeks ago was shut down. You're seeing this across the country. So that hammers commerce. I mean, there's a lot of money, as you know,
Right.
being spent on air travel. Well, if it's
Right.
diminished, people aren't traveling. Guess what? There goes that money. So yes, these CEOs, Bailey, in various industries are sitting down with the various members of the Trump administration saying, get your act together and get this country open, because it's costing us.
Right. Right. And it comes to a point where I know this is very tinfoil hat of me, but this is how I always think. And it's like, when do we come to an uprising of the American citizens having enough is
Yep.
enough? We
Yep.
can't afford
I've
it.
thought of that too.
Middle finger up
Yep.
to you guys.
Yep.
Let's, I don't know, destroy your property like
Right.
you're destroying our lives.
Right.
What
Right.
does that look like if this continues on solely because nobody can come to a
I honestly
decision?
don't think we're far from that. I
I
really
don't
don't.
think
I
so.
mean, if this thing drug on 60 to 90 days, I think you could. You're referring basically to rioting in the street, right? Because
Absolutely.
I agree. And that's why I have said, I have had a lot of friends over the years that are politicians, and I detest politicians. Love all of you as human beings, but I detest your profession, because no matter what level you are, local or all the way up to the president, you have one person you're concerned with. Don't tell me you're concerned about your constituents. You are concerned about getting reelected at whatever cost that it is.
Yep.
The first time that I found, I'll just say a highfalutin local politician, very high up, went to his house and multi-million dollar house and found, let's just say, millions of dollars worth of assets that were sitting there. And I'm thinking to myself, you make $180,000 a year as your position. How do you afford this multi-million dollar lifestyle? It's because of all the people that buy these politicians off. I hate when they use the American people as a pawn.
Mhm. And it's even worse when, not to sound terrible, but so much of your generation or older
Yes.
still believe that the government potentially has our best interest at heart. You know, people who are very stuck in their old school ways. And I know even you and I go back and forth
Yes.
on conversations of new things that are happening. And you're like, you're crazy for thinking this. And I'm like, Dad, open your eyes to this
Yeah, she
one
does.
sector,
She
right?
says,
And so
"You're
I
crazy,
think
old man."
I just picture, just like COVID times, the looting is going to start again, the riots in the street, destroying of businesses that already cannot open because nobody's being paid.
Right. Right.
So, what does this look like in the next few months, especially leading into Christmas? This may be the most devastating numbers that businesses
Right.
see in
Right.
how long? Probably maybe since COVID or before, because nobody has money to even buy a turkey for Thanksgiving
Yes.
or a gift for
That's
Christmas.
right. That's right.
So, I mean, of course, we'll never get answers on anything
No.
or that they
No.
even care about how this will affect anyone, but it's just, I'm sure, the normal thing that everyone is thinking right now, what that looks like in the
Yeah.
coming weeks.
Problem is everybody's afraid to say anything about it. But if you got them into a private room, as I do a lot of times, yeah, you'll find out that no matter what side of the aisle that you're on, you're frustrated with what's going on in Washington because it's not fair, as I always say, that you're playing with people's lives. You're whatever you guys and gals do behind closed doors, that's your business. I don't care. I've been asked to go into politics a million times, and every time I turn them down, I would never ever get into politics. I can't stand it. It takes too long. It's bloated. And again, I care about people. I would never make it, right? But whatever you guys do in Washington, do it, but not at the expense of our hardworking men and women of this country that, damn it, go to work every damn day. Every
Mhm.
day they go to work. They're trying to put food on. They're barely making it, getting a paycheck. And now you just yank their paycheck out and they're like, what do I do? What,
And
what do you want me to do?
look at this
I
though,
chose a profession that was supposed to be the safest, most steady profession. I going into the private sector so I could go public, right? My parents told me, "Hey, go to work for the government. You'll get a pension. You'll never worry about missing a paycheck." And look at these people now.
and look, they're winning even more because of how tied in everyone is into social media, and they have played it so well that it should be red versus blue. Let's get everyone
Yeah,
like puppets to hate
yeah.
each other because of this shutdown. And at the end of the day, we're all the same people. We believe
I
the
often
same
wonder
core.
that. Imagine if there wasn't a Republican or a Democrat. How great would this country be, Bailey, if there was, let's just say, whatever, no party, right?
Mhm.
And the people were controlling it, not politicians. We as a people were voting, right? How simple would it be? All right, somebody says, all right, you want to vote on this topic? Great. Everybody votes. Okay, great. The country agreed on this. Not a politician who quote represents my vote. You don't know what I'm thinking.
And I hope
Oh, well, don't
everyone
get me started.
remembers when you sit on Facebook and you get mad that someone on the opposite aisle is saying something that pisses you off and you say, I hate those Republicans, Democrats, whatever it is. Remember, at the end of the day, they're winning when you fall into that. It is our responsibility to all come together. We're all one that are
That's
all
it.
being played.
That's it.
So we all have to team up together to
Absolutely. I love
fight
that
it
idea.
somehow.
Team up and push the politicians out and watch and see how
Ooh,
great this country would be
got me
then.
foaming at the mouth.
That's right. That's right. All right. We'll start this new movement. Let's wrap it up with Jack Saban right now. Traffic. Or excuse me, in the I'm sorry, Kristen. I'm sorry, Kristen. You start getting me going in politics and I lose all train of thought. So I apologize, my dear. Kristen Snow, right now, Traffic Center. Welcome back to the Jon Sanchez Show on News Talk 780 KOH. Again, Jason out this afternoon in meetings, joined by my daughter, Bailey Sanchez, Director of Marketing, Sanchez Gaunt Capital Management. I'm going to give you the opportunity, Miss Marketing Manager. Tell the audience how all the great things you've done to promote this show besides our wonderful family here at News Talk 780 KOH.
Yeah, we've really put in the effort the last few months building out our YouTube channel to really integrate the video portion. It makes it a little bit more personal. You can see John's smiling face every day when he does the show and Jason's. So please go check it out on YouTube, The Jon Sanchez Show. We had webinars that we've done in the past year. We've put that on our Sanchez Gaunt Capital Management YouTube. So if you need any educational topics, you can go check it out there. And then again, all social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, you can see the show and the brokerage on there as well. And the normal Spotify, Apple. If you go on Spotify, you can actually watch the video of our episode that we do on the
Oh, really? Oh,
Jon
I didn't know
Sanchez
that.
show on there too. So you get to see kind of the vlog portion of it as well. So we
Good
hope to
job.
keep pushing that and giving you guys more topics as we go on too that sometimes we don't film on KOH as well, different educational topics. So please reach out to us. Let us know if there's certain things that you guys want to learn about. There's nothing
Yeah.
too small or too big to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that comment you just made, Bailey, that yeah, if there's something everyone wants to talk about, again, this hour is for all of you. It's not for me. I mean, or Jason. We're here to help you, right? To guide you and be there for you. So again, if there's anything, where do you want to send the email of any questions going forward?
Yeah, go ahead and shoot me an email personally, Bailey, Bailey, at SanchezGaunt, GAUNT.com. And anything. I have no shame getting on here on live radio and asking you questions that everyone probably has, simple questions. So there's nothing too big or
You
small to
know, I
ask
just think
us.
it would be fun sometime. As you know, I don't take a lot of phone calls on this show, but what would be fun would be to have a video or a segment of the show, maybe like Fridays or something, where we could send them an invite over our video, and they could pop onto the screen and ask their questions. Wouldn't that be
I
great
love
to have
it.
like a 6 or 7 people on this right now, and everyone can just instead of phone calls, they're asking the questions right on the air
I
here.
love it so
Yeah,
much. There's no better way to be transparent with the public about exactly what you're thinking other than to have them asking us the questions directly.
yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Again, yeah, shoot us a topic that you want to talk about, and hopefully we can integrate that soon.
Yeah, if you want to be on the show or something like that, yeah,
Absolutely.
Bailey,
I
get
think
that
it'd
all
be
set up.
great.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we got we'll call it a minute or so. What's your final question for me?
There's so much going on. Let's get back to the topic. You said that the market is doing a nice tug of war. People are selling off because they're getting scared. And I know you and Jason always hit the topic of don't sell out of emotion.
Yes.
Don't get rid of your investments out of emotion. So why don't we finish with just some encouragement for people who are in the market, big, small portfolios, whatever it is.
Hmm.
How long do they hold out before they make some decisions, or what should they be looking at before they want to make a decision?
Absolutely. All right, I got 1 minute, so I'm going to summarize this very quickly. Number one, always have a diversified portfolio. Number two, use market weakness as a buying opportunity, right? You've got some great opportunities this week with some of the big tech names that got beat up. Take a look at them. Dollar cost average in. You don't care if the market's up or down. Take that $100 a week, $1,000 a week, whatever you can afford to do, get it in there. Make sure you're contributing to your 401k. It's coming to the end of the year. You got till April 15th. Start that Roth contribution or that traditional IRA contribution. Look at what your goals are, Bailey, to build your wealth, right? I sent you your balance in your 401k the other day, and you're like, oh my God. you know,
And two,
you're a
don't
prime
forget
example.
we have a free asset for you guys on our website as well, our risk calculator. You put in all of your assets, what you're making now, etc., and you can see generally what you'll need for retirement. So
There you
there's
go.
free tools
There
too.
you go.
Go to
All
Sanchez
right.
Gaunt.
Beautiful. Great job, B. All right. That was a blast. Have a great weekend, everybody. God bless. Happy Halloween. Happy Nevada Day. We'll see you on Monday.